Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 364, my reflection on 2025. Well, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. It is December 31st, 2025, and I'm in Lisbon, Portugal, and we all came here for the holiday, and my husband and children flew back this morning at like 3 a.m., and I'm staying longer to work on the Magic House, and I woke up this morning with so much sadness. And after really reflecting about that and actually talking to one of my friends about it and kind of getting at the root of what is going on, I decided to write down my reflection for the whole year. I just want to write this out. And so I started writing, and I decided to share what I wrote with you on the podcast for my reflection for 2025. My word of the year is authenticity. And so I am being authentic with you all about what happened this year and where we're going for 2026. So here it is. Are you excited? It's an uncut version of my own personal reflection for 2025. I hope you enjoy. So, wow, what a fucking year. It did not start quietly. There has been a lot of uncertainty, a lot of change, and a lot of collective tension in the year at the beginning of January 2025. Systems felt shaky, the future felt less predictable, and even when I tried to turn it out, it was hard not to feel the weight of what was happening in the US and around us. I really thought that I would just ignore that noise and write it out, and it turns out that I couldn't. And I noticed myself feeling more stressed than usual, worried about my family, worried about financial security, worried that we were unsafe, and about the kind of world that my kids were growing up in, and about the people I deeply care about and who were feeling especially vulnerable at that time. And when things feel that uncertain, it made me think about bigger questions that I've actually already been thinking about. Questions like, is this sustainable? Is this a life that I actually want? What would it look like to choose something different? And for me, that meant revisiting the idea of living somewhere else, imagining a different pace, a different value, a different way of being in the world, not as an escape, but an honest response to how things were feeling for me at that time. And it wasn't just about the start of 25. My family, Pete and I, had been exploring moving abroad for the past 10 years to give our kids and ourselves an opportunity to experience a new culture and a new way of being. And the truth is, we actually had already started that process. Pete's family and ours were already going down the path of gaining European citizenship through his family's Slovakian ancestry. So anyway, I thought, what was I scared of? We almost pulled the trigger on moving abroad to Ireland 2 years before. I went there to explore living there. We looked at places. We really went down the path, and it almost said yes, but I didn't. I said no. It didn't feel like the right time for us, and it just wasn't the right energy for what I wanted to do. And Pete actually explored transferring his job to Ireland back then, and they said yes, and it came down to my decision. I said no and pulled back. So this has been an ongoing discussion with us for a long time. So back in February of 2025, of this year, I asked Pete to explore again, getting a job transfer to Lisbon, Portugal. And he does, and he gets the green light to do it. And things started moving very fast. We booked a trip to scope it out for spring break in April. In April, him and I and Alec went, and we fell in love with Lisbon. We looked at apartments. We actually found the perfect one, and we signed a lease, and we were only there for a week. So we came back, we got the house ready to go on the market in 1 month, to hit the market at the peak buying season in our area. We downsize, we get rid of so much stuff. I sell my car, we list the house. It sells in 1 day over asking for a price that it's still hard for me to wrap my head around. It's super stressful, overwhelming. The kids are upset and don't want to move, of course. And we're making them live in this staged house. We make them get rid of their stuff. We navigate the end of the school year. We say goodbye to their friends. I'm second guessing a lot during this time. I know things are moving forward. I also know that I can put the stop on it at any time. But I'm just holding space for how I feel. I'm expressing how I'm feeling with Pete. I'm processing my feelings. I'm doing all of the work that I share in teaching you guys how to do. But I also know that not making any new decisions based on my emotions in those moments or how the kids are feeling at any given moment is the right strategy. There are times when I don't want to do it. It feels too hard. It's too complicated. It's too painful. I'm worried that I'm going to screw up the kids, that they're going to leave me the second they get a chance after they graduate high school. I worry that my marriage won't survive this stress. I worry that my business won't survive, that this is all consuming of my life. We're supposed to leave in July to move to Lisbon. We sell our house. Okay, so it closed on June 15th. We find out mid-June, literally a couple days after that we closed, that we're not able to leave. We can't move because of the visas and the process for obtaining them. It's different than what we thought it was going to look like originally. We have to freaking pivot. It is devastating. I remember getting the news that day and just bawling and just Pete loses it. We're shattered. Like all of that stress and all of that work. We have this apartment in Lisbon that we're paying for that we can't move into. We process, we accept, and we freaking pivot. So we needed to find a place that, to live that's close to the kids' school so that they can walk there. Since I sold my car, we find a place. It's less than ideal. It's a small townhome, but it's the best location. It has the bare minimum space that we need. And the carpet is covered in dog shit and piss. And the landlords are super flexible with us. They want us to move in, of course. So they agree to have it cleaned. They have it cleaned. We assess. It's still not good enough. It smells terrible. So they agreed to have the carpet replaced. But we have to move in before this happens. So we move in, move all of our stuff in. And then 2 days later, they replace the carpet. This was the most stress I can remember feeling since quitting drinking and the pandemic. So quitting drinking wasn't stressful for me, but since I've not had alcohol in my life, I remember difficult times. The pandemic was one of them when the kids were all at home and trying to do homeschooling and whatnot. But this felt even more stressful. I had eye twitches. It was intense. I was so stressed out, so many details to manage, 3 homes. Okay, selling our big house and wrapping up the details there, closing out the bills, scheduling cleaners, the handyman, coordinating the movers, and doing the same thing for our apartment in Lisbon because we had decided that we still were going to go for the summer. If we couldn't move there, we had this place, we could go because his kids weren't in school. I can work from anywhere. Pete can work in the Lisbon office. So we decided to go there for the summer. So in the midst of closing out our home that we sold, setting up our new rental in Chapel Hill, and getting the apartment ready over from abroad for us to come for the summer, managing these 3 homes and locations, it was over the top. Things that I had to buy things that I didn't think that we would need because we originally were supposed to bring all of our stuff over, right? So ordering things on Amazon. Thankfully, during this time, I realized I have a cousin who lives in Lisbon who actually runs a restaurant around the corner from our apartment. He's able to help me and get things set up. And it was amazing to have him there on the other side. Anyway, I don't know how I did all of that. When I look back on it and I'm reflecting, and this is what I'm writing about this morning, I'm just so thankful I don't drink. And I know how to be with my feelings. That's just keeps coming back to me. I was strong and resilient for all of the years building up to this summer. I had in my back pocket of building that resiliency, one challenge at a time. I could handle this. And I knew I could handle it by just focusing on what I needed to do in any given day and not worrying or thinking about what the future would hold, just focusing on each moment and each task, all while carrying my business. I also officiated a wedding in Southern California. I led a retreat in Palm Springs. I supported a full load of private clients and maintaining my Alive AF membership during this time, and my friendships and my kids and my relationships, right? The truth is, I was capable and ready to handle all of this. And I knew it deep, deep down inside of me before we even started the process. It was very subconscious. My decisions on making big moves like this and saying yes to things only come, and I only allow myself to do that when I know it's right. Like I mentioned earlier, I knew that it wasn't right to move to Ireland 2 years ago, but this felt differently. This I felt I knew I was ready for. So after we get unpacked in our rental in Chapel Hill, we all fly to Lisbon for the month to set up our apartment, get the kids used to the idea of living there, that this will be our new home next year. Wow. We arrive and we have nothing. I had ordered mattresses to be on the floor so we'd have something to sleep on. And my cousin Eddie and his partner came over and had set things up a little bit for us ahead of time. We had the basics. We had some dishes from Amazon, some silverware, and some mattresses. And we had Kim packed with, I think we had 27 pieces of luggage. It was insane. So we had packed blankets and pillows and clothes and, personal items that we wanted to keep in Lisbon. So we show up and we crash. And what was funny, it wasn't really funny at the time, but the electricity in our apartment wasn't set on the right setting to accommodate like air conditioning running and ovens to be on and dishwashers, and so they had to adjust that. And so for 3 days, we couldn't do those things. We couldn't charge our devices or run the dishwasher or run the air conditioning unit at the same time as the dishwasher. They got it all figured out. And in the meantime, we lived at IKEA for 3 days. We started buying beds and furniture for the kids and some chairs to sit on. And we had actually, before I came, had set up help for people to help us build the IKEA furniture once we got there, because I knew that it would be a lot. So we had the help, and like day 2, everybody's in the house building furniture. And it was just a whoosh of activity and transitions and, moment to moment stuff. So unloading these huge IKEA boxes from our moving truck we rented. So we live in the city, right? So there's no parking spots, and we live on the trolley line. This whole thing could be a whole book on its own. Every time a trolley would come, we would have to rush to close up the moving truck and move the truck, and required a 10-minute circle because of all the one-ways just to circle back around and to do it again. And we thought it was hilarious, and just one of those things that you can't possibly think about or could have planned for, right? There's just so many other details to think about. So anyway, it was a whole experience. I'll never forget it. Everybody was on board. Everybody helped. It was definitely a moment of like our family coming together. Anyway, after getting the basics from IKEA, we spent a lot of time driving around the greater Lisbon area, buying furniture and things from Facebook Marketplace. I didn't want to have all brand new stuff in the apartment. I wanted to take advantage of used things, and, I just didn't want to like come and dump in a bunch of money on brand new furniture either. So anyway, part of the history and the culture is like there's really pretty woodworking stuff here, and like, people hold on to stuff for a really long time. So there's actually like high quality used things that you can get. So part of our summer was driving around Lisbon, buying things from Facebook Marketplace. So much driving. And putting things inside of our little rental car that shouldn't fit inside the rental car, and then bumping our way through the tile streets and over trolley car tracks and up and down hills to carry the big pieces of furniture into our apartment. It was a wild and fun adventure, and I will for sure not forget it. And the Portuguese people are so kind. So for a few extra euros, they would drive 30 plus minutes to deliver things to us. I just couldn't believe it. Like that would not happen in the US, at least from what I had experienced. And all the wonderful pieces we got from the locals on the Facebook Marketplace have a story and a memory, and I love all of it. We explored flea markets and antique shops and vintage shops with Eddie, and there was so much shopping, but it got us out and explored the city, and it was so much fun. I enjoyed discovering our neighborhood, going to a new yoga studio 5 minutes away, eating yummy Portuguese food, going to beautiful beaches, and marveling at the magic that I had a cousin here that I didn't know about who owns this restaurant down the street from our apartment. He like turns out to be like this brother I never had but always wanted. So many synchronicities have been found while living here. So much magic. So we head back to Chapel Hill after a month. Sad to go, wishing we could stay forever like we had planned. And I get home and I am just hit with all of these unexpected feelings about how much I love living in Chapel Hill where we live. I hadn't realized the exhaustion from navigating a foreign country every day. When you're in it, it's, you don't recognize it as much until you get out of it sometimes. And so just going through the store in Lisbon requires so much extra brain and thought power, and being with your uncomfortable feelings and like things not working out and you need to ask for help. And now when I was at home at North Carolina, where I didn't have to think about how to do every little thing, was a huge relief. And I noticed again, my brain was questioning things. What are we doing? Can't we just have 2 homes? Let the kids finish school here and go back and forth. Lots of people do this. I also know that when I have these intense feelings like this, I don't really make it mean much. And I just recognize it and let myself feel this way and allow the thoughts to be present. And I even had a conversation with Pete about it. Like the day we got home, also I'm jet lagged, right? Huge undertaking, huge, big shifts and changes over the summer. So like, sometimes when you get home into your safe place, that's when all the feelings come out. And I believe that's what happened. And I shared with him how I was feeling, where he's like not happy to be there. He wishes he could stay in Lisbon. And I'm just like, I never want to leave again. So I'm sharing with him because I think it's important to share how I feel with people, especially my husband. And I'm just telling him how I'm feeling about it, just like I'm telling you. And I'm also telling him, please don't attach anything to what I'm saying right now. I know that I'm jet lagged and super emotional, and this will probably pass in a few days. And he is just like, okay, Angela, okay. He was very sweet and supportive. I'm sure I make him worry a lot of the time, but he heard me. He didn't try to change my mind. He just held that for me. And then, of course, in a couple days, it did go away. So another lesson, right? Like our feelings can be intense and our thoughts can be intense, but we don't have to make them mean anything or do anything about it. So of course they passed. And since we weren't moving, another good thing was I was able to go on my friend Josh's 50th birthday trip to a cruise on the Greek islands. And that was something that I was originally supposed to go on, but with the move and everything, I had to cancel. And so since we weren't moving and navigating all of that and I was home and I was able to go, I decided to go. And I actually surprised him. So I fly to Greece and I have help with my friend Dan on the other side too, like helping me navigate that. And I get there, I have a night, and then I wake up in the morning and I go and I know where he's going to have breakfast and I surprise him. And it was one of the highlights of the year for sure. Going on my first cruise, not having to think about anything or manage details or houses or work for a full week was exactly the break I needed. I had the best time ever. And I had planned to go back to Lisbon in late September, early October with my friend Sarah to retreat and do some planning for 2026, because at this point, like I had held everything off for business planning. I didn't know because of the move, what that was going to look like for me or anything. So I just kind of maintained things and kept business as usual, but hadn't really thought about what I wanted to do for 2026. But now, since, things were becoming a little bit more clear and a little bit more certainty, and we knew for sure when we were going to move, which would be in the summer of 2026, I had more ability to plan and think about work for the next year. So Sarah met me in Lisbon at the apartment. It was wonderful. We had such a good time. It truly was magical. So we did yoga every day. We had spaciousness to think about 2026 and what we wanted for our businesses. We did deep, unconscious explorations of what our true desires and dreams were. We made solid plans for how we would execute it in 2026. And we have discovered that there were so many fun things that I hadn't learned about my neighborhood. So we got massages, we had more yummy food, we found this cool space that holds sound baths and yoga and co-working, and they had a Friday night sober social club. What in the actual heck? And you can walk to it from my apartment 5 minutes away, 10 minutes, tops. So my mind is now like, oh my gosh, I love this neighborhood so much. There's so many cool things right here. I want to have a retreat. And I want to, ask people to come here for my next retreat. So I start looking at locations to rent because the neighborhood is just perfect. There's this beautiful park and this cathedral. It's peaceful. It's authentically Portuguese. It's not near touristy stuff, but it's still in the city where you can have access to everything. There's a trolley line that runs out the front door. It's just perfect. Beautiful yoga studio that you went to every day. And so I could not find anything to rent. And I was feeling a little disappointed, but I was staying open to the idea of it. Well, of course, because magic is constantly knocking at my door, especially in this whole process, I saw a woman with a suitcase enter the building that we live in. And she seemed like a visitor, not someone who lived there. So I wondered if our building had some sort of short-term rentals or an Airbnb. And if not, would they actually think about partnering with me on something like that? So that idea started marinating on this retreat. And I actually, on my flight home, nothing happened when I was there with the Magic House. But on my flight home, I messaged my landlord and I asked her, I'm like, do you guys have an Airbnb, or would you be open to, partnering with something like this? I lead retreats and blah, 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 blah. Of course, she's like, no, we don't have it. We don't have that, but we're open. The building, this very old building is going through a lot of renovations and like being transformed with some other things. So she said she was open to the idea. So I went home with that in mind and researched the heck out of what I could do with this building and potential spaces. So I proposed an idea for them to rent me an apartment that they were redoing, and I would turn that into the retreat center, which became the Magic House. And like that all just came together within about a week. Okay, they said yes. I signed a lease. I created a website in 1 week's time. I announced it to my audience. I launched 3 retreats as like a founder's circle retreat. So you get in on a discount now if you sign up now. And it's almost sold out. Like that was wild to me. It's just like, yes, you're on the right track. Yes, like constant confirmation that this is all supposed to work out the way it's supposed to too. It's called the Magic House Retreat Center. And it wouldn't have happened if our plans didn't fall through. And I didn't do that retreat here afterwards, this late summer, early fall with Sarah. It has magically worked out exactly how it's supposed to. The delay, the stress, my ability to navigate all the extreme highs and lows of the past year and not make rash decisions or be too reactive when it all felt too intense was key. Now I'm sitting here on December 31st. The kids and Pete and I were all here in Lisbon for the holidays. It was amazing. We toured the school that they're going to go to next year. It was simply amazing. The opportunities that this move is going to open for the kids are endless. I am so beyond excited for them and so proud of them, Mr. Craig, of how they navigated this entire year as well. Like kids are so resilient. They are built with resiliency. They've all had growth. It has not been easy. They have fought tooth and nail, highs and lows, but they are legit models of how we should be as adults, really. And when I woke up this morning, I was met with this deep sadness that they were gone. I was staying for another week to continue working on the Magic House and just felt like I should have gone with them. Why am I here alone? And then further reflecting and processing these feelings and talking to my friend, I realized I was just simply realizing all the things that happened this year. And I had some spaciousness for the first time in a long time to be alone, and it all came rushing out in tears. So I decided to write about it. And that's what you're listening to. You're listening to my writing of my reflection of this year. I'm exhausted, and I'm deeply grateful, and I'm sad, and I'm excited, and I'm happy all at the same time. Oh, and my word of the year, like I mentioned, is authentic for 2026. And I haven't shared that we are actually moving to Portugal publicly. And I'm sick and tired of holding that back, y'all. It's a big part of my life. And what I have navigated emotionally to be able to do this is huge. And staying alcohol-free is so profound. I am done holding back on this. There's so much amazing growth that I experienced this year, that all of the years of me being alcohol-free and doing this deeper work and teaching and growing and expanding in my business and all the things has built on my resiliency to be open and able to handle what I did this year. And so I'm done not holding back on that. So I want to share my experience, not the kids' experience, not the Pete's experience, my experience. We all navigated it together. Everybody had different feelings and experiences. That's their story for them to tell. This is mine. And so 2025, you're a bitch and you're magical. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm kicking off the Dry January challenge here inside my Live AF membership today and welcoming in dozens of new members who want to start 2026 with a bright new step of hope and aliveness. And if you want to join, you can through January 2nd. I'm going to put the link to do that in the comments. If you want to be able to navigate the challenges of life better and go after your biggest dreams that you may not even know you have yet, let's get alcohol out of the way and start building that resiliency now. Let's go. I love you all so much. Thanks you for being with me all of 2025. I love you all to death, and I can't wait to spend 2026 with you. Wow.